Today in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin down approximately 1% and Ethereum also following Bitcoin down approximately 1%. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, a little bit of red throughout the market, some good gainers, some dips that we could definitely take advantage of. However, guys, in today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin that has dipped and is currently looking for that support and potentially looking for a bigger bounce to the upside, and that project is Loom. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, or you can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Of course, that Discord, a great community, lots of good alpha trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been kind of going sideways. That's the reality. After a nice pop to the upside that we've been experiencing, we are definitely going sideways. Now, there is a bit of a scenario here. And if you've been following me on the Discord, I've been posting all day, kind of looking at the potential that we could fall a little bit here. We could get a Bart Simpson retracement to the downside. And there's a lot of, pointers that we could kind of accumulate or find some confluence in that could suggest that the thesis for a downwards dip is very possible. Now, of course, we're in an upwards trend in the last little while where we broke out a great level of resistance. And it's very likely that, big idea, trend is your friend, that we could continue to the upside, but we can't negate the fact that we are getting a bit of a signal that we could get a bit of a reversal. Now, of course, it's all about time frames. It's all about, looking for that confluence. And of course, the more confluence you get, the more confidence you have for the thesis. So I'm going to share my thesis with you guys today with regards to Bitcoin. And then the question is how is that thesis going to impact the altcoins, particularly Loom? And of course, today's video is all about Loom, and I'm going to be looking into the Loom chart as well, of course. And before we do that, let's look at the general market. We can see that Ethereum's going sideways as well, and we are looking like a lot of these altcoins are either still grinding very slowly to the upside or going sideways, testing the bottom of the range, like Dogecoin. We have Toncoin coming down, and Chainlink is still looking strong, but still range bound nonetheless. Still range bound, 3.2% to the downside for Polygon, Matic, and we have others to look at. Polkadot coming down a little bit. So generally speaking, currently we can kind of see that the altcoins are dipping down. And Bitcoin is as well. Now, Bitcoin down 1%, while we see the rest of the altcoins, either coming down more than 1% or going sideways, suggests that the Bitcoin dominance could be taking a bit of a run up as well. Maybe Bitcoin is showing a bit more dominance since altcoins are not looking the strongest currently at the moment. So this is all something to consider. Look at Uniswap. In fact, the structure that is currently forming is not looking good whatsoever. Although it's only down 2%, give or take, it's still not looking healthy. AVAX as well, maybe, bottom of the range, rolling over. It looks a bit hang time-ish, meaning that it could drop any moment. And, the structure that is being built right now looks like a, maybe, cup and handle. It does look like a little bit of a cup and handle. And of course, guys, we can take a look at all these charts in a little bit more detail tonight. Of course, tonight at 7:30, this is where I'm live, and feel free to join so that you can make your requests for any projects that you're interested in, and of course I'll put them in top priority. But AVAX looking a bit interesting there, that it could come down. Uniswap as well looks like it has been coming down, and as you continue going down, you see a lot of many other altcoins looking very similar, sideways or dripping down. So this is, are we embracing for a bit of impact throughout the weekend? And of course, guys, the weekend how it is. A lot of the retail market is trading. Order books are very thin. Each order is very small and volatile, and not much experience. And that way, we see a lot of choppy price action that can get you wrecked. So be very careful over the weekend. The weekend is a great time to use for research and building your convictions and projects. So definitely do those deep dives. And speaking speaking of deep dives, guys, today I spent a good portion of my day doing a deep dive. Be prepared for Sunday. I'll be releasing a deep dive on a particular project. And of course, if you've been following me on the Discord, you might have an idea of what that is. So stay tuned, guys. Optimism rolling over just a little bit. Not looking good. Sideways, maybe looking for that dip. Aave dipping down 2%. Injective is a beast. It's still going up. It's already up 56%, and it continues. It's continuing to the upside. And if you have some skin in the game, guys, this is the time. This is the time to potentially come up with a bearish plan, if just in case the bears take the ball into their court and we see a dip in the immediate short term. Okay, it's not that I'm bearish on Injective, but when things are looking too good, this is the time where maybe the party will end. This is where maybe the bears might start stepping in, or the bulls might show a bit of weakness. Okay, so come up with the plan. What will you do if you start seeing weakness? When will you, where will you put your take profit? Will you trail up a stop loss? What are you going to do to defend your gains, guys? Because if you're up significantly, now is the time to come up with a plan to defend those gains. And I'm going to put Injective on the list for tonight just in case. I definitely want to keep one step ahead of the market, so have INJ on the list for tonight, and we'll continue going down. Caspa looking okay as far as price action wise, up at least. It's in the green, but still I'm not really that interested in Caspa nowadays. It's been doing nothing since this pop to the upside, pretty much stagnant, so I'm not really that interested. Render, on the other hand, has been doing well. It did exceed my expectations, to be honest. It's at $2.21. I expected it to come down or retest at least the 150 level, and I was interested, but it didn't. But no big deal, right? We don't try to chase trades, chasing green candles. That's not my thing. So right now, I did take profits, and it's almost where I took profits, and unfortunately I didn't scale back in. So that's my opportunity cost being paid right now. But nonetheless, I am not going to FOMO into anything. I'm going to be very, very patient. And as we speak, Render's up 5%. So really good price action for Render. As we continue, a bit of a dips here and there. Synthetics coming down. Thorchain, nice and green. What else? Thorchain is interesting. BitGet, Phantom coming 1%. Neo, what a good gainer today. 29% in the last 7 days, but 12% pop to the upside. Pretty good for Neo. I'm liking that for sure. That's one of the anomalies. So there's a few anomalies. I would say 3 or 4 maximum right now in the top 100 are doing their own thing, going rogue. But we can see, generally speaking, we're either, going sideways within a very tight range or dipping down. Look at this one, Pepe down approximately 5.7%, although it ran up significantly. There's nothing to frown upon with this little retracement in comparison to its run. So you know what? Nonetheless, we can kind of negate the fact it's down 5%, but who cares? This thing's been up and up. Apecoin 20%, nothing going sideways, so nothing really. IOTA coming down 3%, and the market is DYDX still within range, but at least it's up 7.4%. If it breaks the previous highs or it gets rejected like it is right now, triple top, not looking good. Maybe coming back down to range lows. Let's see if it breaks the range, either the high or the lows. That could definitely be a move to the upside, but just keep in mind that DYDX is already up 27.7%. You're taking the chance, right? You're getting into a green move. You're getting into some green price action. However, the consolidation is here for you to play that consolidation. You have clear invalidation, which is below the lows or above the highs, depending on which direction you're going to be trading. So that way you can come up with a plan. You can mitigate your risk based on that, basically that consolidation pattern or structure that is being built there on DYDX. So looking pretty good for a trading opportunity, but obviously more detail is required to actually come up with a thesis. Let's put DYDX on the chart, on the list for tonight, of course. Trust Wallet taking a dip, not looking good. Radix coming down to those lower levels. I'm interested in DCA and Radix. I'm going to put Radix on the list as well. And I'm interested in accumulating. A lot of tokens that have yet to buy. And Radix is a coin in itself. There's a project. They came up with their own language. And I find it to be a very, very interesting concept. So, you know what? I'm going to take a look at the charts tonight. And I think I'm due for a nice deep dive on Radix. It's been a while since I did some research. So maybe. Curve Dow didn't really move big time just yet. So maybe a good entry upon a dip. It's down 2% today. So if it does roll over and continue breaking the structure, which looks like a complex head and shoulders to a degree, it could come down to lower levels. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. But generally speaking, guys, the market, as you can see, is pretty much sideways with a few dips, more dips than there are rallies. And there's a few projects going rogue like Injective. But nonetheless, guys, it's a pretty sideways market today. And that's the thing. Should we be getting in? Should we be buying dips? I'm keeping my eye on for dips and obviously taking profit opportunities. Guys, I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on here with the man of the match? Bitcoin obviously ran up really strong. In the last little while, we've been getting a bit of a pullback. Not looking good altogether. Kind of seeing this, these red candles form. But, pullbacks are very expected. This is something that you got to be prepared for. And not only being prepared, but being reactive, having a plan, having a strategy. What are you going to do upon the pullback? Are you going to be DCAing, or are you just going to stand there waiting for those opportunities to come and go? All right, guys, let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. We can see that Bitcoin at the end of the day did a great job and it hit that 1.618 extension level on the dollar, and this was a great setup. And as of now, what I'm really looking forward to is to see how this pullback plays out. We're currently in a pullback scenario. We're encompassing previous price action, within this consolidation. And you can see that there's a bit of a pullback that we could expect to fall right through a volume gap, right? We can see there's a big weak spot right here in the price action. And if we include the previous high right around here, you can see that it's very clear that there's no price action, immediate price action to act as support, right? We went straight up. And the reason why people don't like traders, they both like and don't like such price action. The reason why I like it is because it leaves a nice volume gap behind that we can potentially trade. But the reason why a bull wouldn't like this is because there's no support at all, right? In this case, it has a gap, an empty space for the bears to kind of take advantage of. And I'm not a bear, but I definitely want to be able to take advantage of this scenario, right? The scenario is that if we fall below this horizontal, the top of the volume gap, and you guys know that I follow these volume gaps and they work out very well, is that if we fall through this zone and as we enter the really weak area of this volume gap, it could be that we come back and test the 32K level, okay? So as we speak, it looks like a bit of weakness. Let's look at the momentum. The RSI is rolling over, and the MACD is almost to that level where we could expect a rollover. Of course, we're going to close a daily candle today. We'll take a look tonight at 7:30. I'll be live, and we'll close that candle at about 8 o'clock. So we'll see how these candles close. We'll see how the Asia market comes in and how they play the market to see what kind of volatility we get. But you can see as we speak, we're very overbought. We're very overextended on the MACD and overbought on the RSI, and we're getting that bit of that pullback and looking for support at the top of the volume gap. Now, if we look at the 4-hour, there's more confluence to suggest that we are looking for short positions. Long positions are easier in this case, in the sense that the trend is your friend. I get it. But when you have a bit of a thesis to build, sometimes you got to keep an eye on it, because not only can you short this, but at least if you have a bullish conviction, you can be prepared to buy the dips, right? So at the end of the day, we did get upward sloping price action, very overextended, very volatile and strong price action to the upside. But as soon as we got into the zone, you can see that we started making bearish divergence. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI in comparison to the price action. You can follow, right? And that shows us class A bearish divergence. It's a strong signs of divergence at very interesting level of resistance, which I explained earlier. It is the 1.618 extension level, okay, using Fibonacci theory. Now, in this case, we see that MACD rolling over and the red histogram bars are still red. Now, as we unfolded in the last little while, you can see we're knocking away at this horizontal support. Is it going to be support? Is it going to actually hold up? And at this level, as we keep on knocking at lower levels and as the momentum keeps on coming down, it's likely that we do break down to about 32K, and that would be a good buy the dip opportunity. That would be a good opportunity to anticipate maybe another long position. And in fact, unless we are completely oversold on the 4-hour, you know what, I may not even consider it done. We might come down, break down, get a bit of a jitter here at the 50% mark of the RSI, which is the chop zone, and then continue to the downside and get oversold. But again, if we go back to the daily, that could be the beginning of a potential further cascade based on daily momentum to see the daily fully oversold. In my opinion, right now, obviously none of this is financial advice, but the shorting bias is definitely there in my opinion. I'm definitely in a short bias currently at the moment. The bias, the conviction, the whole thesis, the whole confluence is a lot higher to get into a short position and look for a pullback rather than getting into fresh longs after a fat pump to the upside. Okay, so Bitcoin did a great job exceeding many expectations, and now it's about, are you going to be the greedy one? Because usually greedy people, in this case, looking to squeeze every dollar out of a move, those are the ones that become exit liquidity, right? They get slaughtered. So be careful out there, guys. Look for better opportunities where momentum is in your favor. Right now, everything's very overbought, very overextended, very heated, and this is where, you know, things get a little bit dangerous. Okay, so that's my take on Bitcoin. Obviously, tonight we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. If you have any questions or any concerns, that's a great time to engage in some Q&A. All right, let's continue. Today's video is all about Loom. What can we say about Loom given that Bitcoin is in a pullback and potentially Loom right now, it doesn't care. You know, Loom right now is looking pretty good. Now, we did cover Loom earlier on. I posted a video dedicated to Loom a couple of days ago. So this is a little bit of an update with regards to the 7 days ago when I did cover Loom, which was really good. I also left a couple of charts on the Discord. So if you're a member there, go check it out. Some charts there to kind of lead you in the right direction. And we are currently hitting the price targets perfectly. Okay, so we hit the green arrow. That's the top of the volume gap. And we got the reaction. Guys, I'm almost like expecting it, right? This is exactly what I do on a daily basis, is look for opportunities like this, right? So we do have the top of the volume gap and we have the bottom of the volume gap, but that obviously could be a level of weakness that we could fall through. But obviously the bulls are going to want to protect the top of the volume gap, and this is what they're doing right now. They're protecting the top, and what's really happening is we're getting a bit of a reaction to the upside, and then we might get a bit of a rejection at the top of the bottom of this volume gap at about 14.5 cents. Now, what could happen here is we get to this level, the bears start kicking in, and then the bears get into those bearish bids, and then all of a sudden they go for another attempt to break below. For me, that could be very possible given the fact that the market usually looks for, you know, retracements, healthy retracements, dead cat bounces, and so on after a fat basically sell-off and, you know, dump to the downside. Hitting this support, getting a dead cat bounce here is very possible. A little bit of a reaction, a bit of relief before a continuation to the downside. So I'm keeping my eye out. Now, momentum wise, there's nothing here. You can see that at the end of the day, we're consolidating and we let the yellow line catch up to the purple. That's a mean reversion play, and so far so good. Now, what about getting oversold? You know, we didn't get oversold. The price action didn't get oversold, and for me, I like to get into extreme conditions. So really, based on the daily conviction, there's nothing there, but there could be something on lower time frames, particularly the 4-hour. So we'll take a look at the 4-hour in a second, but let's continue with this story. The MACD, nothing really. We're not even getting an EMA cross, and we still are in a red bearish control zone. We have pale pink histogram bars that, you know, could suggest that we get more bearish momentum to the downside. So we're not out of the, you know, out of the clear yet. So in this case, we got to be very patient, because the risk going long right now is that we actually get oversold on the RSI and get people wrecked. We chop around here in the chop zone at the 50% zone on the RSI, and then finally, you know, come back down for that next impulsive move that gets us completely oversold. And if that happens, it's likely we hit the 0.07, the 7-cent mark, and that would be a great buy opportunity. This is why DCAing is a great strategy. We have a bit of a support here that we don't know what could happen based on the 4-hour. We can get a fat bounce and continue to the upside. This is why scaling in at the green arrows are perfect, guys. And I did post you know, a charts basically showing you that this was a DCA opportunity, and this is what I said in the previous video. And then now preparing for that bounce to the upside. Let's quickly look at the 4-hour. The 4-hour was perfect. We got oversold, nice extreme condition, bullish divergence, maybe here on this double bottom, a nice Adam and Eve pattern, very textbook. And based on that theory, based on the pattern in itself, we could expect a breakout out of the neckline. We have the top, and we're currently attempting to get to that top. If we break out of this area, we're actually breaking out of the Adam and Eve pattern, and measured move should take us, you know, into the volume gap that maybe could get us as high as the top of the volume gap, which is right about, you know, 25 cents. Who knows, that could happen. Just keep in mind that the momentum on the 4-hour is definitely trekking to overbought conditions, and a good majority of the move is already done. So let's keep in mind that we could get a bit of resistance right around this area, especially the fact that we have the 4-hour RSI, the EMA, hanging out here to quickly act as resistance, and we have the bottom of this volume gap. Okay, so the likelihood of getting rejected or getting some resistance at 14 cents is very high. A lot of confluence, bottom of the volume gap, and we have the 200 daily the 200 4-hour EMA right here, ready to act as a rejection point. So be careful with that one. Okay, so you can see the value here in DCAing, buying a bit here, seeing where it goes. You never know, it could break out, it could keep on going, and obviously we'll wait for the momentum to get completely overbought, and then finally we can potentially get into a short position or accumulate a short position if you're already short, and continue expecting the price to come down based on the 4-hour and maybe even based on the daily, like I mentioned, that we didn't even get oversold yet. So we could be getting just a short-term relief to the upside based on the 4-hour, expecting the 4-hour to get overbought, and once the 4-hour gets overbought, we could eventually get that continuation to the downside and see the daily oversold, and obviously see the 4-hour oversold once again, getting down to these levels, and we'll DCA once again. So we DCA'd here in oversold conditions, we'll wait for it to get overbought, we'll DCA again in another attempt on oversold condition, but this time maybe even the daily will be oversold. So we'll have some confluence on both time frames, plus we'll have horizontal support, plus we'll have the MACD potentially trying to get out of the bearish control zone, because even here on the 4-hour it's desperately trying, and it does look like it's wanting to continue to the upside. So in the immediate short term, we could definitely see the MACD continue pushing up, and obviously a DCA buy right here would have been epic. Right now you would have been in profits. What kind of profits are we talking about? We're talking about 15% gains from that general area if you were able to DCA in this level. Now again, rejection point is healthy here, so expect to take a bit of profit, or protect your gains right around here, because we do have a bit of a jitter that we got to identify, but really the next level of resistance is right about 24-25 cents based on this cluster of supply and demand here. And you can see the volume gap kind of peaks here. We basically get into a zone where we could get some resistance based on the volume profile. So be very careful here. This is an empty spot of weakness that we can definitely pop right through, but we have to keep in mind that there's some work to be done in the immediate short term before we can actually get there. DCA all in this area is definitely a viable strategy. All right guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor and slap the like button. Of course, I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, so feel free to join. It's a great place and time to make those requests on any of those altcoins that you're interested in. And of course guys, join that Discord. It's a great community, lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and all that good stuff. Take care guys, have a good one, see you tonight, and don't forget, buy the dip.